Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing a baby card, and actually this card was the first idea that I had when I saw the Mammoth Love by Mama Elephant being in the sneak peeks. So I have die cut this slimline panel, and this is die cut with the slim window dressings by Mama Elephant, and I'm just tracing the middle part of this panel. I am going to use this lowest stamp from the set, and in my opinion this can be definitely a parent and little one, but I have a few colleagues of mine that say that actually a baby card should have both parents on there. Now, to have the same size for the parents, I decided that I was going to do this stamp again, but then only stamp out the big one and not the small mammoth. So I have placed this stamp set sort of in the middle of this panel, and now I'm going to restamp it, but this time behind the little one, and I will only stamp out the big one. So I have taken my piece of acetate that I have in my MISTI, since I am also using rubber stamps lately. I am keeping it in there, and I just wanted to stamp out the big one and check whether it was going to be fine where I placed it. And if not, you can always just turn and twist your panel underneath the acetate to get the right placement. So the acetate represents the placement on your door. So you cannot move your door, you cannot move the acetate. But if you're not happy with placement, you can definitely move the panel underneath. So that's the idea of using a piece of acetate to check whether placement is working. Now I am stamping it on my panel using antique linen because I'm going to do some noline coloring with my distress inks, and it has been a while, but I still like it, of course, and it is really precious in my opinion. It reminds me of a child's book and a children's book, and that's just so cute. So for a baby card, why not? So it took me a while to figure out if I liked placement, if I didn't, shift everything. But once you are happy, you just make sure that your panel is secured, and then I stamped out the big one. So the little one is holding the tail of the big one. Now I try to cover as much of the little one as possible with my purple tape, and I actually covered a bit more of the tail because there the nose or the snout, or however you call that, from a mammoth, is grabbing onto the tail. So I preferred having it not there and just draw in the tail than something else. So I have taken 3 colors of browns, and I will use them in that order. So behind, in my opinion, the mammoth on the end is the father. So I don't know why, but the male figures, I always give them a bit of a darker color, and then I go to lighters. But yeah. So as I always do with my distress inks, I take the ink and I go to my image onto the edges with the ink. And then off camera, when you see me leaving with my paintbrush, I have a cup with some water and I clean my paintbrush there, and then I dab it off onto a paper towel. This way I create a damp paintbrush, and that I use to drag the color to the rest of the image. Now, as you can see here, the mammoths have quite a large belly or back area, so that's not always easy to get like the color to go all over. What you can do when you don't want too many light or actually white areas, you can definitely dilute your inks on your acrylic block or wherever you smushed it on, and then use a diluted version. Of course, then if you're using the same paper as I am, being the Strathmore Bristol Smooth, then you need to make sure that you don't take too much of that diluted version with you, because then you have again a lot of water that the paper needs to process, and it can process water but not as much. There are also other techniques for watercoloring, of course. If you, for example, would take watercolor paper, which can handle a lot of water, and you can definitely go all over with water and keep adding layers and layers without it drying in between. That's all an option, but not with this paper. So I am at the face now, and I want to have some sort of a highlight, being having a light source that is sort of coming from the right. So the head definitely needs to have some sort of a bright area. So I'm first going really soft. Here I have used a diluted version to get that brown, but a really soft brown all over the face. And now I just keep adding layers and layers. I could definitely stop at a certain point, but I just start really light and then I go for the dramatic shadow and I just keep adding. So you can add a lot of dimension and definitely a lot of shadow as well with this technique. You just need to add lots of layers to it. And then of course, as I said, the body from the Mammoth is really big, so a few extra layers over there to get all the colors going and to spread it. And once you're happy, you can just start with all the other browns, all the other Mammoths. And so in my opinion, so the little one is guided by the mother because he's holding her tail, and then the father is walking behind them to protect them, but also just to hurry them up, I think. I remember that when I was little, I was sometimes a bit slow maybe when we were walking because I didn't like to walk. And then there was always one of my parents who was right behind me to hurry me up. So that's that one doing, and they are just out on a stroll together, really joyful. And I'm doing exactly the same on all the other Mammoths. I also try to have the same highlight, this way it looks like one image, of course. And I just keep adding. So actually, once you're happy with how you did one of them, then you can definitely do the others exactly the same, but with other colors or with the same colors, however you prefer it. I am using 3 different browns. As I said, I'm using the Walnut Stain, Vintage Photo and Brushed Corduroy. And there aren't actually as many browns in these dressings. I really hope that more will come because I use the neutrals a lot for these things. But these 3 definitely are my favorite. And if I should use one, then I think I always go for Brushed Corduroy because it's lovely. So I keep adding and adding. I'm trying to avoid the areas where there is a lighter color needed, because that one I'm going to do later on. They will get all 3 the same colors for those areas. Okay, so I am doing exactly the same as you can see here, only this little one was a bit easier because it was less large, and that also gives me more of the ink to spread out without having to add too much or a thinner version of the ink, and that's just something that I really like. But you know, parents are bigger, so I'm I'm working my way around it. Then I must admit, this year there are like a lot of people around me that are going to have a baby together. And I think it's super cute. I am a softie for babies. I don't have one because I'm 23 currently, and I try to not have it until I have all the finances and a house and stuff like that to raise my child. Um, but I just think it's amazing. And when you think about it, it's actually funny, I think, because we are in this COVID situation, unfortunately. But the babies that are currently born or that will be born during this year are like almost all lockdown babies. So people really looked for each other, I think, and couples were like, okay, well, let's give it a try, and then we will have an adorable little one of our own and just take care of it and love it and have a precious little family. And I just adore it. Because in the beginning of the lockdown in Belgium, a lot of relations experts were saying that um, the violence in the homes would go up, and unfortunately it did for a big part. I personally have no knowledge of people around me having to deal with such difficulties, so that's fortunate. And I see all these babies that are going to be born in February, in March, and I just love it. So I was planning on making lots of birthday cards, which I'm still going to do this year. But all of a sudden, excuse me, all of a sudden, I will have to make a lot of baby cards as well. Now, I'm not going to do cards like this all the time because they are really time consuming, and although I love, love, love the end result, when I'm doing something no-line coloring, is it with the distress inks, is it with the Copic markers lately, or whatever, I only do it once. You know, I enjoy it, but we all know how much time goes into it, and you're not going to do that to yourself 2 times. Or that's in my case, definitely what I think. So this one will be a precious one, and actually it's for my colleague. And I cannot wait to see the little one that she will bring to this world. But it's going to be a boy, she already said that. So that's also why I'm going to choose for the Evergreen ball distressings later on. Yeah, it's not that a girl card needs to be pink and a boy card needs to have the greens or the blues. But yeah, I'm just... I think that she will appreciate it. I also have some family members that are going to have a baby, and they say, I have a girl, I do not want any pink items in my house. So those are also there. So I just try to think about the person I'm going to give the card to, if I am making one specifically for someone, and then I just design the card however I think that they would really appreciate it. So here I'm taking the color for the ears. I first had the wrong distress ink. Luckily I saw it in time, so definitely using the Victorian Velvet. I love that one. It's one of the colors that I really learned to appreciate during 2020, and I think I will not forget this color. So now a bit of antique linen here to have that lighter color, and then some fixing up. Some items weren't that good colored in, so fixing that, and then the coloring is sort of finished. I also need to add an eye to everyone, but that's a minimal thing. So I'm doing that here. I'm using that for the darkest brown, the walnut stain that I used for the father in my card, because that color is popping on every mammoth. So, and here I'm fixing a bit of the things, and then that's finished. So I made some masks using this INKADINKADO stamping mask paper. I already fussy cut it. I didn't want to waste time during this video for that. The coloring already took a lot of time. So I'm going to add the masks to my images, and then I will do a soft gradient blend. Well, soft, it's with Evergreen Bough and Lucky Clover, so it's not really soft, but you know what I mean. We are just going from the top towards the bottom, not completely towards the bottom. But yeah, so this is my book. I already showed you a few times. I have all my distressings in here, my regular ones. The oxides I still need to do, but I don't have a lot of oxides. So I just decided there which color I wanted to use, and then the Lucky Clover and Evergreen Ball were the ones that I decided on. So as you know, I color these images using my distressing. So this paper is Strathmore Bristol Smooth. In my opinion, when you inkblend your distressings on there, it's lighter than when you, for example, inkblend on Nina. But it's also the way the paper is handling the color. Like Nina really soaks in the color, and every layer you add, it gets darker and darker, while on Strathmore Bristol Smooth you have some more wiggle room. The paper stays wet longer, which gives you the opportunity, if you're new to ink blending and such, to really correct mistakes, have some wiggle room, a bit more time to get everything spread. I personally prefer ink blending on Nina and all the other things because I'm used of it already. And yeah, that's just something that I find really practical. I like the brightness of the colors and such. But it works on this paper really well, and definitely if you're new, I would recommend this paper. So I am removing my masks, and I'm just keeping them on the back of my stamp set. You put in so much effort to fussy cut your masks out. If you're able to reserve it, then just keep it on the back of your stamp set, and you can use it a second time. Some masks, I prefer the full stick post-it notes. They are really sticky, and you can definitely use it 2-3 times. Of course, when you're splattering and you're having a lot of water on them, of course they will lose a lot of it. So for the sentiments, I was inspired by this Hello Brand New Baby that is included in a new family. But then I also have the Hello script by Mama Elephant, and if you check both out, then you actually see that Hello is written the same way as the Hello in the stamp set itself. Now I decided to use the script one, and I cut it out of Strathmore Bristol Smooth, as well as out of Honey Gold Mirror Card by Tonic Studios. Tonic Studios truly has the most amazing cardstock ever. If you're looking for a lovely gold or lovely glitter cardstock, I would recommend Tonic Studios. Personally, in Europe, it's not always that easy to get my hands on, so yeah, I sometimes have to order in America to get it. But I hope that one day I will get it really easy. But who knows? I'm going to stamp out Brand New Baby, doing some white heat embossing, and then I will afterwards add the Hello on top. Now I try to get it sort of aligned in the middle of this, but then it was a bit off with my images, so they are already walking, they are past the middle, so I'm just stamping it, placing it sort of above the little one. And I'm going to mask off the Hello. Now I prefer doing that with my purple tape. There are lots of ways to mask off things. You can also cut your stamps apart, but my heart cannot handle that. Doing some surgery on your stamps, I'm just afraid of that. But I do it with purple tape because you can actually press it also in between the letters. It's flexible, so it's easy. So if you're not sure, you can truly press it so that you have the bottom of the words that you don't want also included in your masking. But that's just what I experience. So I've stamped it out 2 times, Versamark clear embossing ink, and now I'm using my Ranger embossing powder, the white, super fine detail. And I am removing the excess, and then I can heat set everything. Now when you're heat setting your sediment, it's really important, if you want a nice result, to have your heat gun heating up before you bring it to your card. Otherwise you can overheat it, you can get more bulking of your paper. I just prefer having it heated already, then I first go on the back and then I go on the front. It's just what I do, but whatever works for you, that's fine. I'm adding the Hello, and then this panel is almost finished. So pressing it down, I just love this gold color with the green from the distressings. So I have these Trinity stem Sweet-N-Tart heart sprinkle mix, and let's be honest, in my opinion the white ones are just the ones you need. Sometimes I use the pinks and the reds, but that is so limited that this little jar will be empty, like there will be no white ones left and I will have only pink and reds. Now these I cannot get in Europe as far as I know, so if someone from Europe is following this video and watching it and hearing this and you know where I can get it, then please let me know in the comments, because I truly adore hearts like these. Not necessarily need to be from Trinity stamps, but these hearts are sort of clayish, and I love them. I really want more of them, so let me know. And unfortunately I am not seeing the UK as a country that can help me, because they decided to go out of the European Union. So since January I need to pay customs, unfortunately, when I buy in the UK. So to avoid that, Europe without the UK, please. Okay, so that was the little question. And now I'm just going to add this panel to a card base. Really simple. And then this card is completely finished. So I must admit, I truly love this stamp set by Mama Elephant. The Mammoth Love is just spot on, cute, adorable, lovely sentiments as well. So yeah, that's why I use them and I just love it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. You can always give this one a thumbs up, then I know that you did. If you have any questions, just leave them down below. I will get back to you. And I hope that you have a wonderful day left, and I will be back soon with a new card. Bye!